In Summary Task 4, you'll publish your interactive web map. You'll author and publish the map view in ArcGIS Pro, beautify and share the web map in ArcGIS Online, and create and configure the web app in ArcGIS Online. Then you'll create and submit your ArcGIS Pro project package and website URL to the Blackboard course website by the project due date. Now, publishing your interactive web map in ArcGIS Pro is as easy as ABC. A, author and publish the map view in ArcGIS Pro. B, beautify and share the web map in ArcGIS Online. And C, create and configure the web app in ArcGIS Online. So first, back in the ArcGIS Pro interface, we want to make sure that we don't have any outstanding edits, and I don't. Also, in the contents pane, you want to make sure that it's all cleaned up, that your feature layer names all are intuitive, that you have the light gray base map enabled, and that the schedule standalone table is loaded in the contents pane. Also note that the stops and the routes feature layer include the all other values. We want to get rid of those because it doesn't mean anything to our users. So I'm going to right click on the stops feature layer and go to symbology. And then in the symbology pane, if I look down in the classes, I can see my red, green, and blue, but I've also got all other values. I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to click on the more drop down and disable show all other values. And notice that that's reflected in the contents pane as well. So I'm going to do it to the routes and get rid of all other values. Go ahead and close the symbology pane. Now I want to label my stops. So in the contents pane, I'm going to select my stops feature layer. And then on the context sensitive labeling ribbon, I'm going to activate that and turn my labels on. So on the far left side under the layer group, I'm going to click label, and that's going to enable labeling. Now, it's kind of nonsensical labeling. It labeled with my object ID, which doesn't mean anything to my users. So I want to label according to the red, green, and blue stops. So I'm going to click on the class dropdown and select create label classes from symbology. So instead of labeling everything the same way, it's going to label according to the red, green, and blue stops. Go ahead and uncheck append to current label classes and scale range and check color. So it creates label classes by color and click OK. And there you can see it's created labels for my red, blue, and green with the labels reflecting the color of the route. If I go up on the class dropdown, I can see my blue, green, and red classes. Now I want to update each of the classes. So I want to switch the field to stop ID for the blue labels. Under the text symbol group, I'm going to switch from regular to bold so they stand out a little bit more. It's still a little cluttered, still a little bit hard to see. I want to emphasize them some more. So I'm going to click on the More Options button for the text symbol group. And then under the Label Class pane, under the General panel, I'm going to browse down to Halo, expand that, and I'm going to change the Halo symbol to a white polygon fill. There, that really emphasizes the blue labels. I can see them a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process for my other labels. I'm going to switch the class from blue to green, switch the field from line to stop ID, the font from regular to bold, and then add a halo. And I'm going to do the same for the red labels. And again, add a halo. Close the label class pane. All right, that looks a lot better. I can see my stop ID labels, but it's still a little bit cluttered. And the reason is because the labels are intersecting the underlying routes, and I don't want them to. I want them to be next to, not on top of the route. So if I go on the labeling ribbon under More and click the drop down and select Weights, I can update the weights for various feature or graphic layers. In this case, for the routes, I'm going to change the feature weight to 1000, which is the highest weight, which means labels won't draw on my routes. Click OK. And then watch as the labels move to the side of the routes. That looks a lot cleaner. All right, that looks really great. I'm going to save my ArcGIS Pro project. Now I'm ready to share my web map from ArcGIS Pro to ArcGIS Online. And so the map view as it's presented both in the map view and in the contents pane is what I'm going to publish to ArcGIS Online. So I can do that by highlighting the map view in the contents pane and then going to the share ribbon. And in the share as group, I'm going to click on the web map button. That opens up the share as a web map geoprocessing tool. And I need to make sure that my name, summary, tags, and all that's filled out. And then under share with, I'm going to set it to share with everyone and Austin Community College GIS. Now I'm ready to analyze to make sure I'm set up to share my web map. Oops, I got an error there. It says the field shape length cannot be used. If I highlight over it, it tells me what it is as a display field. And if I right click the error, sometimes it gives me a solution. Sometimes it just says select the layer in the contents pane. And there it selected the routes. And I can right click the routes layer and go to properties. And then the display group. And there I can see the display field is set to shape length. And I want to go ahead and set it to a more intuitive display field like line and click OK. And then I need to click Analyze again to see if I resolve the error. I did. So I've got no errors or warnings. If you still have an error and you can't resolve it, check with your instructor and they can help you resolve it. But once you've resolved all your errors, you're ready to share your web map. So go ahead and hit share. And then you can see it's publishing your web map from ArcGIS Pro Desktop to ArcGIS Online. And there I've successfully shared my web map. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Manage this web map hyperlink, and that's going to open up my ArcGIS Online web map item page. I'm going to go ahead and maximize my browser because now I've moved from working in ArcGIS Pro Desktop to ArcGIS Online. And then I'm going to click on Open in Map Viewer, and that's going to open up my published ArcGIS Pro web map in my ArcGIS Online web map viewer. And there you can see the legend with my line, routes, and service area. Now I want to edit my app, and I can't do that because I've got some of the settings disabled. That's because I'm not signed in. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Sign In the upper right corner, and then I'm going to enter in my login credentials, which are the same login credentials that you have for ArcGIS Pro Desktop. Go ahead and sign in. And so now you can see I have access to all of the capabilities of the web map, including sharing and creating the app and saving my changes. Now, the interface is a little different. It's a vertical ribbon or toolbar that can be collapsed from below. Now you want to make sure that your web map is ready to go. For example, that your service area layer doesn't have an underscore in it. Maybe you need to rename it. If you don't, you're good to go. Or for example, look, my labels published a little bit different. They're a little bit more offset than I want. So I'm going to select the stops layer. And then over in the right side toolbar, I'm going to locate labels. Click on labels. And then I'm going to click on the blue drop-down labels. And then locate edit label style. Expand that. And it's the offset that I want to control. So I'm just going to click and drag that little dot and set it where my offset looks better for my labels. That's pretty good. Go ahead and close that. And I'm going to repeat the process for my green labels. As well as my red labels. All right. That looks pretty good. So now that you've beautified your web map to your satisfaction, you need to save your changes. So over in the left side toolbar or ribbon, you can see there's a little blue icon there. That means you have outstanding edits or save. So you need to click on Save and Open and click Save. Now that we've saved our web map, we need to share it to make sure that it's shared with everyone so it's accessible by users in your web app. So we're going to click on Share Map and make sure that the sharing level is set to everyone. It is. So I can go ahead and close that window. If it's not, make sure you set it to everyone. And then now we've beautified and share our web map in ArcGIS Online. We're ready to create and configure our web app in ArcGIS Online. So we're going to click Create App. And there's different types of apps you can create. And we're going to click on Instant Apps. And in the Instant Apps wizard, you can see there's various suggestions that can walk you through creating your app. And there's also a gallery with all kinds of different templates that we can use to create our web app with our embedded web map. We're going to select just the basic one. So find the basic one and click Choose. That's going to open up the Create App Basic window. And we're going to rename our app title as Austin Streetcar App Jane Doe, or your name, and go ahead and click Create App. And that is going to create our basic app with our embedded web map. And so this is open in the app configuration page. And if you notice on the far left, you can see it's set to Express. If I click on that, I can disable or turn off Express mode. And that gives me access to all the different options to configure my app. For this project, we're going to go ahead and just enable or turn on Express mode. And then we'll step through the Express mode, starting with step 1, which is the map. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And so at this point, you can reconfigure, for example, your extent for your map. I would like it zoomed in a little better, so I'm going to click on View Map. And I'm going to reset my extent that opens up in my web app. And then I need to save changes, so I'm going to save and open and click Save. And then once the changes to my web map are saved, I can go ahead and close my web map page, return to my web app, and if I refresh my web app page, I should see my opening map extent. There, that looks a lot better. So now that I've got the step 1 map set, now I'm going to go to step 2 About, where I can do things like turn on a header. I'm going to go ahead and leave it set to the default settings, go back, go to step 3. Here I can update my interactivity. For example, my layer list or my search. Again, I'm going to leave it set to the default parameters. Go back and click on my themes and layout. I can select a mode like light or dark or a specific type of theme. I'm going to just set it again to the default to the light, hit back. And so at this point, I'm ready to go. I have drafted my web app with my embedded web map. There you can see it's in draft mode, but I need to share this with everyone. I've shared my web map with everyone, but not my web app. So I'm going to click on Share, and then my sharing level is set to Owner, which means only I can access the app. So I'm going to change Share Settings, and in the Share window, change it from Owner to Everyone, and click Save. And that's going to update my sharing for my web app. All right, so now it's still in draft mode. I'm ready to publish. I'm going to click on Publish. That's going to open up the Publish page. I want to confirm that I want to publish the app. And then it says your changes have been published. And if I wait a second, it opens the share. And my sharing settings are already correct. I can copy the link right here, which is the URL or web address, or I can click Launch, and it'll open up my published web app directly with my embedded web map. There you can see. It works as advertised, including my associated attributes, my daytime workers and residents for the service area, and my stop ID info. I can also copy this URL and use that same URL to submit to the Blackboard course website. But I want to show you how, if you turn your computer off and want to return to your ArcGIS Online web app configuration page. So I'm going to go ahead and close all the other tabs and go to arcgis.com. I'm going to click Sign In and Log In with my ArcGIS Online, which are my ArcGIS Pro desktop credentials, the same. That opens up my organizational homepage. I'm going to click on the content menu item. And then if I view my content, I can see there are my published ArcGIS Online items that support my instant app, including the service definition, which is just the configuration that you published. And if you look over at the sharing, that's only shared with the owner, but you don't have to worry about that. Now, the feature layer are your routes and stops and service area, and that does need to be shared with everyone because it's within the web map, which also needs to be shared with everyone. And then last, the web map is embedded in your instant web app, which also needs to be shared with everyone. Otherwise, your general public users won't be able to access it. Now, if you want to open your instant app, just click on the hyperlink, and that opens the ArcGIS Online item page. And so there you can see it's my instant app item page, and I could, click on view to view it, or I can click on configure to configure it and change my settings, or I can scroll all the way down and I can copy the URL, which again is the web address for my app. And so if I open up a new blank browser and paste and go to my copied URL, you can see it brings me to my web app with my embedded web map with my routes, stops, and service area. Now that you've successfully created your web app, you need to create your ArcGIS Pro project package to submit to your Blackboard course website. So we're going to return to ArcGIS Pro, and then on the Share ribbon on the very far left side in the package group, we're going to click on Project, and that's going to open up the Package Project GeoProcess. Under Start Packaging, we need to select Save Package to File, and then of course we need to browse to the location we're going to save it to make sure that we know where we saved it. So I'm going to go to my course website, to my course folder, to my projects folder, and under Austin Streetcar, and I'm going to enter my name using the same naming convention that's specified in the statement of work, which includes the year dash month dash date underscore first name underscore last name underscore Austin underscore Streetcar. Go ahead and click Save. So if I click in the name field, I can see it's going to save it in my project folder, and it's going to have a .ppkx extension. Now I need to enter in the summary, which is just something simple like Austin Streetcar System, and some tags. Like streetcar, comma, ACC, comma, GIS. Now I want to make sure that I enable or check share outside of organization. And then we're going to uncheck include toolboxes and include history items, because those unnecessarily will clutter our ArcGIS Pro project package, make it too large. So I'm going to uncheck those. Now I'm ready to click Analyze, make sure that I don't have any errors. And if you get any errors and you need help resolving them, get with your instructor. I don't have any errors or warnings, so I'm ready to click Package to package my project. And it says it needs to be saved. Hit yes. And now it's creating the project package. All right, so there you can see it successfully created the project package. And if I click on Manage the Package, it's going to open up where the project package is in Windows File Explorer, which is in my Austin Streetcar project folder. And there you can see my Austin Streetcar.ppkx, my project package. Don't submit to me the APRX. That's the project document. I want the project package that includes your project file geodatabase. Finally, make sure you refer to the last page of the statement of work where you'll find the grading rubric and all the criteria required to receive full credit for this project, including, for example, the first criteria for the deliverable to submit the PPKX and the URL to the course website. So make sure you satisfy all the grading criteria so you can get full credit, and congratulations on completing the Austin Streetcar project.